You want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
Broadcasting from Spook Central, this is Cross the Streams Radio Show.
Yes, have some.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Very special episode. I know you don't care who we are, but in the past year, we've had a bunch of great guests. I mean, episode 29, you're going to want to revisit that because we talked to the developers of the Ghostbusters video game for the PS3 and Xbox, and that kind of plays into today's Ernie Hudson interview because we do touch on that. Episode 30, we had Walter Day. Episode 34, we went to a Q&A with Ivan Reitman.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, it was great. I love how you asked about how did they get the shaving cream?
The shaving foam, that's my question for everyone who I meet.
In episode 36, we talked to Eric Burnham and Dan Schoening. Now, those are the guys behind, I mean, there's other people involved, but those are the guys who write and illustrate for the Ghostbusters comic book, the monthly comic book.
Yeah, and this is all within the last year, all of this.
Yeah,
and
we crushed it.
Exactly.
We even have an app. We have an app for the iPhone or
application.
Google. Yeah, if you got a smartphone, you got Android, guess what? You can go on to the Google Play, just download it, rate it, subscribe, share it.
You can get it on your iPhone on the App Store. You can listen to iTunes, and
we've already said way too much. We need to just get straight into this interview.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes everybody's favorite Ghostbuster, Mr. Ernie Hudson.
All right, I just want to say thanks yesterday for recognizing my name tag at least. I had no idea you were going to remember that. So, when you kind of the interview was holy shit, that was cool. So
no, you guys, I know we've been sort of back and forth online, and I wanted to get it done, but it's just been a little crazy. So
speaking of online, there, you just joined Twitter. How do you feel about that social media? Is that good or bad? Is that?
I don't know if I can't put a good or bad label on it. I just don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't know the need for letting people know everything that you're doing. Here I'm in Ottawa now. Here's a photo of me smiling, and now I'm drinking coffee. And why is that? Yeah, I don't. But somehow it seems important, and so.
Well, because your wife seems very supportive, Linda. She's very supportive.
Linda's great. Yeah, no, she encourages it, but then she does the Facebook stuff, and. What's that the thing with the photos? Instagram.
See, that's weird to me. That's where I'm starting, because that becomes like a second career if you actually had an account for everything. You'd be busy all the time.
You had there were some fake people being you on Twitter too, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was one guy who had my picture up there, and he said he was Ernie Hudson, and he was saying really.
Hashtag was fake at fake Ernie Hudson. He acknowledged. He even acknowledged it's not even.
Well, it was fake. I mean, I didn't mind, but I know on the basic page, people thought it was me. So I would get these things saying, "Oh my God, I had no idea you felt that way," or that how could you say these awful things?
Right.
And I'm like, "What awful things? I don't even do it." So after he did it, and I thought, well, maybe I should.
So yesterday you said you're cutting back on appearances. Is just you want to focus on work, or?
Yeah. Well, what happens is you get invited a lot, and I have a real issue, wherever it comes from, I'm not sure, but of saying no. Judged by the fact that I'm here. And, so, and people invite me to a lot of places, and then I find myself getting on a plane a lot, and what happens, I really need to focus on the stuff I need to do, which is the writing, the acting, the stuff that I make a living doing.
So you were writing a movie about I forget the boxer's name, right?
Jack Johnson. I'm still working on. We did it in Colorado and Pennsylvania the first of this year. And so now I'm sort of doing a rewrite and had some issues with my partner. So I want to get back into that, and that's kind of where I am right now. So, but what happens is if you do a convention, by the time you get home, you're so exhausted from all the stuff you're doing, and then there's another one coming up, and now you're getting photos and all that stuff ready. And if you're working like I've been, there's no time for the writing. And so at some point you're going to go, why am I not getting things done? And it's because I'm overcommitting. And so I think the first thing to do is cut back on the conventions. Work is a little more difficult. I'm shooting a film in Vancouver now called The Grim Sleeper. So that's work.
Are you in between sort of shooting schedule? You have this weekend off, and that's why you're able to fly out from Vancouver? Because yesterday during your Q&A, you're like, I'm normally in my suit, but I didn't come from home.
Yeah, I didn't come from home. I've been working in Vancouver, and I thought I wouldn't be able to come here. But then the studio was nice enough to give me Friday off.
Oh, that's nice.
So I was able to fly in, and I got to work tomorrow morning, Monday morning. And so, yeah. So, but in the meantime, there's there's a spin-off of Arrow called Flash that
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and so
We're nerds, so
I'm meeting, you know, so I'm meeting the creators next week, and so I kind of have to prepare for that. And
Do you know what you're
Danny
up for?
Glover and his adopted dad or the dad, I don't know.
Is the dad gonna have
You
a
know,
problem?
I don't know.
'Cause, like, that's the one key thing I've noticed. Anytime you're a dad, it's not like a normal dad. It's always
Yeah.
like a dad that.
Well, his dad has a problem, and I don't want to give that story.
No,
by the way,
it's okay.
But,
No.
but his dad, I don't know. I'll tell you more about it if I get the job.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry.
You know,
I'm sorry.
so we can't use Ernie Hudson. He spilled everything on that. But Danny Glover and Danny Trejo, they're doing a movie now, and they had called me with an offer, and I haven't read the script. So it's always stuff. You know, there's always stuff you got to read. There's always stuff you got to do, and then when you're also in the middle of, and when you do these conventions, they're all day. I mean, you start at 10, 9 in the morning, and you're there until 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Your family must miss you when you do this.
You know, I like to think my wife misses me, but I'm starting to believe otherwise. I mean, you know, she never travels with me. Unless I'm going to Paris next September. She'll go to Paris, and she'll go to all the exotic places, you know.
Okay.
We'll go to maybe London next year. But no, I think she just hates sitting there, you know.
It's long. It's
You
a
know,
long day.
it's a long day, yeah, you know, so... And I say just come and hang out and do the spa thing and, you know, and just, but there's so much stuff that she has going on at home. But, you know, but I got grandkids, you know, and I was supposed to have been doing this show, and then I'd go to New York and spend a week with my grandkids who I haven't seen in a while. And then there was a show in New Jersey. But because I'm working now, I had to cancel the New Jersey show. I can't go to New York, and so now trying to explain to my grandkids why I can't come and see them because they had planned all this stuff to do. So it's always trying to make sure everybody's cool. I have 4 sons, and they're all got their lives, and so, you know, how do you be dad? How do you stay on top of your career? How do you... I guess that's key, and everybody sort of goes through it, but the conventions add another element to it. Because for 3 days or 2 days, you're out of it. Yeah, you're really out of the mix. So.
Do you ever sleep?
You know, yeah, my body tells me, you know, sleep, and then it just knocks me out, and I never fight that. Yeah. You know, if I can grab, unless I'm working, of course. If you're working, you just have to. But when I'm not working, like I went to the hotel and I thought, okay, I'm going to read the script, and I'm going to do these things, and then your body says no. Sleep. So we just.
Have you seen the Ecto One here? Have you been out to it?
Yeah, today at 3:00. I'm sure this won't make any sense when you air it, but today we're going to take photos with the car.
Yeah, no, we saw the sign up there.
Yeah,
We talked to
people,
Martin. Martin's the guy with the Ecto.
Yeah, so last night I thought, you know, if you got the car here, I mean, maybe people would love to get their photos with the car.
I'm surprised they didn't set that up from the get-go. That didn't make sense to me.
Well, there's a guy in New Jersey who has one of the cars from the second movie. And when I'm doing a show close by, he'll bring the car, and usually it's right by the table. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and fans seem to like it. And really, it's all about really the fans when you hear. You know what I mean? The bottom line is.
Well, speaking of the fans, like. You remember Brian Fears then, right? And Sean Bishop? Those guys, come on.
Brian is amazing. The suit I have now, because mine got stolen from a hotel in New Jersey. Brian made the suit.
That sucks.
I mean, yeah, he made me a backpack.
Yeah,
those guys, you know, and which I can't travel with because
I'm sure
TSA gets weird. I'm like, dude, have you ever seen the movie? It's no, step away, sir. You know, and it's like, come on.
TSA gave you trouble.
Oh my God, you're kidding! Every time it's like,
it does look like a time bomb.
Is not legal.
Because you figured people would be our age, because that movie's like The Wizard of Oz for our generation, so you'd think it would click. Like
TSA agents don't have a sense of
humor, you know, and I don't know if they really think it's like a dangerous piece of equipment, or if I'm carrying drugs in my backpack. Sure, yeah, he's a Ghostbuster. I think it's some,
Crack it open.
Yeah, bring the dogs in. It's like, no. It's like,
you seriously brought the dogs in?
No, they do this whole thing, you know, and I'm like, you know,
you just don't want to go through the headache of that.
I don't want to go through the headache, and it's also big to carry.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. And that probably weighs like 30, 40 pounds.
It's
got like all the best. Like I remember when they were putting it together, I watched the thread on the website, and they got like all the best. Like
they
donate like the best stuff for it.
Really, really, really cool. So, and I'm very, you know, I mean, seriously touched. I know it's easy to say stuff like that, but I just because I mean, they didn't have to do it. I mean, it wasn't like So anyway, so the fans are great and have been great, and they've kept the whole franchise alive. And
well Bishop, who helped make your pack, he actually lent a pack to Murray for the Scream Awards. I thought that was kind of neat.
Oh,
the same
right.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Bishop, all those guys. So it's the same group of guys. That's
yeah. No, they're pretty. They came and picked me up. It was an art gallery. I forget so much stuff in Los Angeles, but they came and picked me up in the car and that was fun. So.
Oh right, I think it was the Triple G or something that was like Goonies, Ghostbusters, or something else. I remember.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
So like when you arrive in their car, is it much better than when you would arrive in the car when they were doing promotions for the films?
Well, the car that the studio had, it never worked right. I mean, the thing always fell apart. We were at Mann's. Grauman's doing a promotion there. When we got ready to leave, the car wouldn't start, so they had to tow the car away. And we're standing there. They towed the Ecto away. We're standing there like idiots,
Did you, by any chance, did you see anything online where the Ecto 1A, like from the second movie,
right.
it's like sitting out there being like collecting dust.
Sure.
It's been disassembled.
Well,
I
like in all things, you get the car, and then you have 2 or 3 replicas. So if anything goes wrong, you bring the other car in. And so it might be one of the cars that might have been used, but yeah, I mean, studio has no use for it. They don't want you to have it.
No.
Yeah.
They want to keep that.
They want to keep it. So, but in the meantime, they don't take care of it. It'll just sort of.
It's weird because you think that the studio could easily just be like, "Come on, fans, volunteer and take care of this," because I know people would do it for free. Like, that's
sure.
The Back to the Future guys did it, right? They restored the DeLorean
for like anniversary promotional stuff. Just because for them to fix, for Sony to fix it up, it's like $150,000-$200,000 to get it.
But for the fans to do it collectively, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, no, but then the studio's been really slow on everything. I mean, they were slow to bring out the toys. You would think that the studio would have like backpacks that you can get because there's so many people who are wanting them. But they've done nothing.
It's like they're clueless. They just they don't know how to. It's like they fumbled with it. They don't know how to
whole
handle
franchise.
the franchise.
Yeah.
They got a year. They got a year left for the 30th anniversary, right? For next June. Do you think have you received any communication yet on that? Really?
No. I've talked to the studio a couple of times about when it looked like the third movie is going to happen, but beyond that, no, I have no.
Well, hopefully they'll have something at San Diego Comic-Con for the summer. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they have a preview of a movie or something. But
yeah.
So I don't know. They've just been very, but then they always have been. I think from the get-go, they've just really been the last to kind of get. Oh, this could be.
Yeah.
Because I feel they were 15 years too late with like that other animated series when they tried bringing back Ghostbusters, like Extreme Ghostbusters, and they tried selling it to syndication because they didn't have a studio backing or anything like that. And I feel they dropped it on that. But I guess with
we never had a convention. You would think that studio would say, okay, let's, since we have all these guys and. Let's put together a convention, centered around Ghostbusters. You got all these ghost hunters who said they, got the idea from watching Ghostbusters, so you have some kind of theme. Star Wars, they certainly, Star Trek, all those guys sort of, but there's never been an attempt to bring us together.
Well, Ghostbusters is definitely becoming like that, right? You've seen that, right? It's becoming like Star Wars, Star Trek. It's something big. It's becoming like its own entity. Like
but once again, you had the studios behind those, and so they made it into something. I mean, they made it. They supported it.
I guess makes this different from other franchises.
We always feel like Sony is like 2 steps away from sending us all letters telling us to stop. Because
I feel the same way. I mean, I don't sell photos. I even hesitate sometimes, with having the suit that those guys made me because I don't know. Yeah, they might. I mean, even it's so impersonal. Yeah. And sometimes they look at it just purely from a business. Even though this helps the franchise, but so I have no clue. I'm not sure if they one day come up to me and say, hey, you can't. You can't say you're Winston, even though they use my photo on the back of their toys.
I have a question about that.
Like the likeness for you. Do you have to sign off on anything of that, or is that just free reign? They can do whatever they want.
I'm trying to even find out why I don't get paid for the video game they use in the casinos. Where they get, because it's also, I mean, it's not just my likeness on the thing, but it's my voice. It's everything. I'm like, wait a minute, using clips from the movie here. It's like. But it gets into all the legal stuff, and I don't, but
like an action figure based off of you. Do you have to sign off on your likeness, or is that taken care of?
thankfully, this last group of toys, they at least showed me what they had in mind.
Okay.
So they got my opinion.
So you're not getting the residuals for the toys, like the character Winston Zedmore would be getting the residuals.
Yeah, that's
like,
right. Yeah, I think they're
like
sending
this.
the check to Winston Zedmore because I should have haven't seen it. Yeah.
Does your wife pick up the comic books at all, or the new IDW Ghostbuster comics at all?
I would say I doubt it, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm on the road, so I have no idea what she does.
This has been like 2 years ago, I think. Was it September
Yeah,
2011?
Yeah, I got some, and every once in a while somebody will send me something that they
Well, your character.
In the comic book now is getting married.
Yeah, we're finding out more about.
Really? Wow. Well, see, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah.
That's the first time.
Congrats for Winston's supposed wedding.
Yeah, because that was always the thing when I would do interviews. Years ago, I'd go to schools and kids would. There was always a question which I found very interesting. They would say, "Was where does Winston go?"
Right.
Because we don't know anything. Who the hell is Winston? Does he have a family? Does he have kids? Does he whatever? And so it's nice to know he's getting married. I found in the game he went and got his degree. So it's
So what was your experience on the game? Like, how did they approach you for that to come back?
No, they told me that they had all the guys and that that Bill had even agreed to do it. So, I'm always happy to be included because when you're dealing with Hollywood and the studios, they make choices sometimes that makes no sense. So I never go, oh, this is going on, so now I'm going to be, because you know what, I don't know anything, and I always like to sort of leave space to roll with whatever they come up with, because I don't totally trust.
Because I know the fans, anyways, they view the game like if the third film never materializes,
Right.
the game is the third film. That's how we look at it too.
I play it every time, and the dialogue that Danny wrote was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the Terminal Reality guys, they did an amazing job.
They did a great job. Yeah, I think who was it? Who dropped it for? Was it Atari that had it? Or one of the,
Activision had it.
Yeah,
Activision had it, and then they were like, "No, we don't want it anymore." And then we were all like, "What? Where's the game going?"
It came out in October.
That's right.
2008, October 2008.
Right.
Well, Halloween release would have been cool, but then they bumped it back to like the 25th anniversary. Which worked out in the end worked out better, I think.
And I knew that the guys who kept it and kept moving forward, they really loved the movie. They really loved it, and they wanted to get it right.
Yeah, we talked to some of them.
Yeah, we talked to two of the developers of the games.
Really? Yeah.
See, that's what we're doing with the podcast. It's like a digital sort of thumbprint for Ghostbusters,
Right.
like just dissecting the franchise, talking to everybody involved in different
Right,
aspects
right.
of it. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they were saying at one point Bill didn't want to do it. So you were actually, Winston and the rest of the crew was going to take the forefront, and then the fourth Ghostbuster is the video game character. But then Bill signed on the last minute, so they got all four.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the game, there's like cut scenes where you're not in it, and then the video game guys were like, "Oh yeah, like Winston was going to be the backup guy. He was going to fill in for Murray." So that could have been, in my mind, that would have been cool. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Was it fun to jump back into the character? I mean, it had been almost like 20 years since you had been Winston Zedmore.
Yeah, it was nice to it was nice to be a part of the franchise, nice to be a part of it, and it's nice to be included. Because when we came out, there was so much issues with credits and when you have a very powerful agent representatives the way those guys did, and you have someone who was not very powerful like I had, I'm just an actor trying to get a job, so I'm never sure where the character's going to be included or what to expect.
It always bugged me that Winston was left off everything.
Well, once again, I think if at one point I heard early on they had thought possibly Eddie Murphy would do the role. Had Eddie Murphy did the role, it would have been a whole different role because obviously
Beverly Hills.
He went to
because Stallone left Beverly Hills Cop, which left that open.
So which makes perfect sense. But because then he would have had the powerful agent to. So I don't take it really personal. I know a lot of this has to do with the power players, and unfortunately, I just had no real backup to my interests.
Do you want us to take over and like make sure that you are like properly on the posters and the Blu-ray covers?
Anybody who who steps up, I just look at it, and I've always looked at it. If you want to be around a long time, you just have to be able to adjust.
Yeah.
You have to be able to adjust,
Adapt
and you don't get so caught up on what it can be. You recognize what it could have been, and it's a hell of a lot better than that. So so it's nice. Because at one point when I after they made the changes in the script, I mean, I was really ready to go. You know what? No thanks.
Yeah.
But then that wouldn't have been fun.
Yeah, because you had one point were introduced in page 4, and then or is it page 6?
Page 6 to page 68.
Yeah, and then it was like what?
Yeah.
So you ended up with what probably like a second draft, and then when you showed up on set, it was the final, and you're like, "What's going on?"
It was always that way up until the night before we shot.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was
That's
the
a
night before we
cheap
shot.
move,
You know,
actually.
and then they slipped it under the door. You know.
Oh.
Did Ivan not want to like see you? Was he trying to avoid you? I mean, no
Yeah.
offense, you're a big guy.
Yeah.
You could have taken it.
No, it was just very odd the way they did it. I thought because we had rehearsed. We'd been in New York for.
Because you were supposed to get slimed and everything. You were in the hotel scene, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you still have all your lines memorized from the stuff? And
I'm sure the fans grill you on all the fans, right? Okay, let's do it right now.
It was a time when I first started acting. I thought I'd never forget lines because I always sort of pride myself on words, and I think a lot of that has to do with when you're a black actor, you're probably the last guy to be given words. I'm not sure what that. I know there's something racial going on there. You know what I mean? It's like you're the detective, so you say, But I love dialogue. I love to be able to play with it and do things with it. But but now so many years ago, so I don't remember. I try to forget that stuff as quick as
I'm sorry, man.
You do it. You put it in enough to get the scene done, and then you dump it.
Because you figure, I guess my question is, did they make you jump through a bunch of hoops to try and get the role? Because I know you had worked with Ivan on that 3D film, a year or two prior.
we did Space Hunter with Molly Ringwald and Peter Weller, and it was it went on for about a month.
How many auditions did they make you go
God,
through?
I must have gone to 5, 6.
Was it just you screen testing, or did they try your chemistry out with the other?
No, it's pretty much just me doing the same thing over and over again.
Why would they do that? I don't get that. You figure hey, watch this tape. No, let's make him do
that's
this
not,
tape.
That's not. Maybe it was the only thing I can see is we'll bring him in and see what his tolerance level is.
It's like a mental thing.
Well, it's like if this guy can't deal with coming in here 5 times, how's he going to get along with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd? So we want a guy who goes, no, it's cool, we'll do it again. So, I mean, I don't know. That's partly a joke, but I mean, it is what it is. Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, okay,
and definitely nobody's going to explain to you why they do what they do.
Now, has Ghostbusters hindered you? Has that prevented you from getting jobs or interviews with people?
No, I don't think so. I think
like Spike Lee?
I've never gotten a job because of Ghostbusters that I'm aware of.
Oh, really?
Nobody's ever said, "Oh man, I saw you in a movie, and we want you in our movie because of it." There have been movies that I've done that people go, "Wow, we saw the movie, we love that character, we want you to be a part of." Ghostbusters probably because it is a comedy. I think after Ghostbusters, people assumed that I was more comedic. So some of the, getting the shot in the Hand of Rocks the Cradle was difficult because I think they thought that, and that was a character that was dramatic. So in that way, because after Ghostbusters the movies just froze up. So it didn't really open those doors that I thought it would. And I think had the studio dealt with it differently, had they included me in the advertising, had they made me one of the quote unquote stars, then it would have had a big impact on my career. But as it was, it didn't have. But in the meantime, you look back and things are good. And but it wasn't a game changer in the way that I thought it would be. When you do a major movie and it's huge like that, you think it's gonna.
When they did the sequel, at least did you think then maybe this'll boost me back up, or maybe with the marketing team or something like that, they throw you at least you're on the cover for the second one, right? So that's
yeah. Well, I think at a certain point the studio realizes that if they don't do certain things, it doesn't look favorable. Yeah. So they do what they need to do, what they feel they have to do.
Because you're a fan favorite. I mean, you're everybody's favorite.
Well,
you're the everyman. I think that's what's so.
Well, and also I think that might be something that the studio might have been more surprised because I've heard them say, "Wow, the characters it's selling well." It's like we had no idea. So a little bit of that is probably at play. But once again, I can't read people's mind. I don't know what they're thinking, what they're not thinking. And once again, after the second movie came out, it had the opposite effect. It didn't really open a lot of doors. And like I said, I don't remember any movie that I can say I got as a result of Ghostbusters. I've signed a lot of autographs in supermarkets on paper bags. You know, I mean, it's like, but I can't see. I can't say, oh, from that movie. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I mean, it certainly is. But it hasn't been like, oh, I did this movie and suddenly my world changed. I mean, I worked before Ghostbusters. I've worked after Ghostbusters. You know, I'm a working actor. I've always worked.
How's hanging out with like Robin Shelby and Michael Gross? And I know you had an awesome opportunity to hang out with William Atherton just a while back.
Well, Bill's been a friend since the movie, you know, and Robin and I met more recently, and you know, Michael, obviously I've known. But I'm not a hanger-outer, you know what I mean? I don't really, you know, well, you know, I got stuff. I got stuff to read. I got things to do. I got to get a job, you know, I mean, you know, so I'm not, and I got kids, you know. I was a single parent with my first two sons, and then I got married, and we had two more kids, and so when they say wrap, I'm heading home to take care of my family, you know what I mean? And you know, talking about the Ghostbusters and all the things that didn't happen, I'm sure my social skills in that regard probably had an impact. I mean, because I don't do that stuff well. You know, I work.
But that's
I like
cool.
people, but I got stuff to do. So
we respect that, right? Because you took time for your family as opposed to hanging out at parties and smoozing with Hollywood
when
people.
you're a single parent, you know that if anything goes wrong with my kids, I don't want to be feeling it had something to do with what I didn't do.
Right.
So,
Family first,
you know,
right?
your family's always first, yeah. You know, I mean, this is why you do it, you know.
Sorry to hop back to the game, though. But did your sons or grandkids play the game? Like, I'm curious what their thoughts were on that.
Well, you know, my third son, Andrew, he came with me to the recordings, and you know, they let him sort of play the pregame, and they've actually. And when it came out, he played the game for like 3 days and defeated him.
No way.
You know, so, yeah, he just
Straight.
you know. But but they gave him a preview, and but the two younger boys are, you know, they love the games. The two older boys, I'm not sure. They had the game in the '80s. Which
we were
wasn't
playing that
that?
last
Which,
night.
oh,
We were
really?
playing the
Yeah,
80s
I
last night.
understand. Wasn't I don't play games, so, but I hear it wasn't a very good game.
They're
all
terrible.
right. Yeah.
They're terrible
It took me
games.
2 years to beat it for the
Yeah,
Nintendo.
the Ghostbuster 2 game I remember playing with my little brother, and we got 5 minutes in, we had to turn it off. It was so frustrating. This guy, though, he memorized.
Yeah, it's patterns and stuff like that. It's a nerd. I'm so sorry to even admit that. I got a top 10 score in like the new video game too. It's like, yeah, my wife.
It's like the Steve Wozniak of Ghostbusters 2.
My wife just is so sick because I always plays your character online. And she's like, just pick someone else. I'm getting tired of the lines. Come on. I mean, what do you say to like our wives? Like, two of us are married, one's engaged. I mean, how do you feel bad for our wives? Or
What do you think?
No, I think it's part of you know, you are who you are, you know, and so I think women are pretty smart. They know kind of what they're. You know, there's people who hide things about themselves until they're married. That's when you're in trouble, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't tell her you like Ghostbusters until you were married, and now you got all this gear in the garage, you know. Yeah. But no, they know. I think, you know. So.
Are you happy about the? I guess when you see the mold being broken, you're seeing you know, different genders step into the fandom, like female Ghostbusters also being represented in the cartoons and the comic and stuff like that. It's no longer.
Boys Club.
Yeah, that's one thing I was afraid of because I like Star Wars because Star Wars has a lot of characters,
Right.
and it's all different genders. And with Ghostbusters, it ended up being okay. There's 4 guys on screen, it's boys only, but now it's all being split up. What are your thoughts on, you know, more of that?
Times have changed. I mean, times have changed, and you know, I mean, in so many ways, and you know, we're at a different place. You know, like it or not, you know, we move forward, and so it's much more inclusive. And things that we, you know, 20 years ago would never have thought, and you know, it's a different world, and you just kind of embrace it, and it's a good thing, you know. So it's a good thing. So I think, Ghostbusters now, 30 years later, should be reflective of kind of where we are, as opposed to, you know, a bunch of guys jumping around and doing what guys do. I mean, that's all cool too, but it's great that women are. Not just included, but they also, you got women nerds, you know what I mean? And,
of course.
you know, and the movies have a way of thinking that only these guys do. No, wait a minute, you know, so they can take it a little bit far sometimes when they get the, you know, woman who's, you know, 98 pounds, you know, destroying an army of men and knocking out the 6'8" guy and with her blinding speed. I'm like, yeah, right. But that's Hollywood. Hollywood always goes to extremes.
How do you feel about like the films today? I mean, every film I feel like that comes out. First of all, we don't even have that many films coming out anymore. I mean, like 2008, we had 117, and now we're getting 80 films a year. And there's so many. They're like the end of the year, or not the end of the year, the end of the world. Like apocalyptic. Sorry, you screwed me.
It's like,
but like really, we have this like apocalyptic sort of like why like the obsession. I don't know, like the way films are headed now, or is it kind of you miss the old cowboy kind of?
Well, my grandmother said the reason we die is because we reach a point where we just don't get it anymore. It comes a point where you look around and go, what the hell is going on? I don't understand what they're saying. I don't know what they're doing.
I feel like that now, though. Is
that
bad? Is that bad?
It's changing so much, and some of it I know has to do with change, but some of it has to do with, you become locked in your ways. And so I look at a lot of movies, and I don't get it. I don't get the lack of story, the lack of character. And also I feel like, that they feel if they get enough action in. Yeah. And I hate those villains who are indestructible. Oh. They fall off a 10-story building, they get up and they run, and they get shot, and then they fight for, I'm like, come on. Once, okay, I can excuse once, maybe twice. Yeah. But some of this stuff, I saw Star Trek, and the guy, I know he's whatever, but come on, man. Nobody can do all of that. I mean, it just gets... And the action, it's like we get enough action and they won't think about the fact that, what the hell are we doing here?
Well, I feel like I'm 90 years old now when I go to the movies because my wife and I, we saw Superman and it was like, okay, we're done for a bit because it was like, we're like, oh, it's so loud. Why is everything blowing up?
No, and I think that's Hollywood saying more and more, and less story, less story, less character, less pay people less, because then they can make it up and people won't notice, and I think people do notice, and
Well, it's this whole digital era, right? I mean, like now we have these comic book bland effects, and people just accept that as like, oh, this is good. Whereas like you guys had the practical effects in Ghostbusters, and I think that's the heart.
And people have started to accept a lot less than we used to. We don't demand a lot. I mean, I'm not sure about it. In fact, I was flying on Canadian Air, and I was shocked because the movies were like free. I'm like, you get free television, and they actually gave me a little sandwich. I'm like, they give you shit. I mean, it's like, really. I mean, in the States now, they've just cut back.
What?
Everything is cut back. I mean, you can't watch a movie on a plane unless you put your credit card in.
What?
It's like,
no.
Yeah, now they sell this middle seat. The window seat and the aisle seat are premium seats. So
my God.
if you don't want to sit in the middle, you got to pay more. And it's like, man, come on, I mean, how much? So everything just keeps getting cut back and back and back. But so I don't. Like I said, it's wild to me.
Do you find like it's a huge culture shock when you come to Canada to work or come for conventions?
Well, not a huge culture. I mean, Canada, it reflects America, but it's definitely more laid back. And I think we in America we take pride in, our ability to be extreme. You know what I'm saying? We protect our rights to be crazy.
Very patriotic, I guess, compared to here, where we just have like our Canadian flag is like a leaf that'll dry up and blow away. It's not.
We just like getting high and drinking. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
I mean, say if you can, live with each other. I don't think we like Americans are. I think we're harder on ourselves than anybody. Mm-hmm. Also, we got this macho thing, and we can go out and we can, kick ass, and we can, we're the best, and we're all, which is, all that stuff is, and we. You lose a lot, and we got this kind of war mentality, not just in terms of going to war with other countries, but war with each other. Kids, we're shooting up elementary schools, and we're doing all. It's this wild extreme, but it's our right to be crazy. And at some point, you kind of go, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But anyway, that's just me.
Well, speaking of war, did you go to Nam?
Yeah, I joined. I mean, because for me, coming from a small town, it was my chance to get out of town and see the world and meet women and do all this fun stuff. And then I got there, and after a few weeks, the drill instructor had me eat shellfish. Oh, God. And I'm allergic to shellfish. I tried to tell him, but he insisted that I eat it, and I ate it. And so I had this awful asthma attack. and then my asthma started working up, and then I ended up getting discharged, and I haven't had an asthma attack since, thank God, because everybody in that platoon went to Vietnam, and a lot of them didn't come back. And
50,000 of your generation.
It was, but I got out of it, and not that I was trying to get out of it. It's just that, I joined, and I was there for a short time. Somehow it shows up on my
I saw it through
bio, and
TMZ is how I saw it.
and people go, "Oh yeah, he was a Marine," and I see all these soldiers saluting me, and I'm like, "No, I was there 9 weeks, man."
I got sick. The
I had
shellfish, guys. Put your arms down. The shellfish.
I want to apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't catch a bullet. I went to college. I just did nice stuff.
Yeah, well, Matt here was in the reserves. So.
I did Air Force, for a little bit. I was I helped out with flying instructing, gliding, and a bunch of stuff. So focus on flying planes and stuff. Well, there's CFB Trenton, so that's a Canadian Air Force base. That's where all the you start off with the Air Cadet program kind of thing when you're in your teens, and then you go into the Officer Cadet Training program, and it's what it is kind of like in Canada. There's major bases in every province, and that's the one major one in Ontario. I was in there for a very short period of time. This is from 19 to 21, and I got out. It was basically because I saw a lot of weird bureaucratic stuff happen, and I'm like, I just want to be a filmmaker. I just want to shoot movies, be in movies, and do that stuff.
States, all those guys who joined the reserve, who thought it was like a way to kind of get out of going over. Now they were pulling from all those guys because they didn't have the draft, and so a lot of guys who thought they were just in the reserve, but now they were the first ones they called.
Can I ask one last real quick question? Sure. So I asked Ivan Reitman, and he didn't know, but were you on set? So the day with the Marshmallow Week, yesterday you mentioned that you shot marshmallow stuff for a week. When they dropped the huge vat of shaving cream, whatever it was, did you see the logistics of that? Was it lots of little cans of shaving cream? Was it a big tub of, how did they get the shaving cream into whatever vessel that they dropped?
Because Bill got
he didn't remember. He's like, oh, I don't know.
All you know is that Bill was pissed when he got hit with it felt like a ton of shaving cream.
Get hit with a ton of shaving cream. I think they had it in this thing and they lifted it up on some kind of crane.
How did they get it in?
That's what he wants. He just wants to know the logistics.
He wants to know, was there a crew that filled it up with individual cans?
They had these. I'm sure that people who can fill up as much as the studios got. You can do anything. I mean, it's Hollywood.
Throwing money, eh?
How do you save somebody's life who's going to get hit with it? That's a different thing. We don't worry about that. But,
they patted up the stunt guy. Bill didn't want to do it, so they patted up the stunt guy, and it's like, oh, there's nothing, shaving cream.
No. So.
All right. Anyways, thanks, man, so much for doing this for us.
Well, no, it's great talking to you guys. And
it's really good. We'll drop you a line. Thank you.
But good talking to you guys.
Yeah, good talking to you, man. Nice shoes too.
So. No. It's all I wear now. I love these. I love
Converse.
Yeah, the Converse.
They're too flat.
That's what I like about them. I have flat feet. So when they try to put that little arch in there, it's like, no. See, my feet are flat. I mean, I've never had any trouble with my feet. I can run, I can do whatever. But so I like them. I like them for that reason. Anyway, that's just me. Now, when it gets colder, I might want to get something a little more protective.
Ernie, but thanks again. It was a pleasure, man.
Great, thank you.
Good hanging out.
All right, take care, guys.
IDW's Ghostbusters Monthly Comic. Got your copy? Order today at your local comic shop.
Hello, welcome back, everyone. So I still don't know. I still have not got a good answer. I've asked Ivan Reitman. I've asked Ernie Hudson. I still don't have a good answer on the logistics of how the shaving cream got into the thing.
But I don't think I ever will. Vats and they just
but I want to know. I as a regular human being,
in a dump truck.
I want to know. I want to know if they a big dump truck came up and emptied it in, or
in a big bag. I wonder if it's a guy who how you put a hose into a gas tank, you kind of suck, and then it all comes out. I wonder if they did that.
Yeah, but that's not. They don't transport shaving foam like that.
What about it's in a bag and they cut it and they squeeze it into the bucket?
Maybe it came in a bag.
Well, who put it in the bag?
That's what I want to know. Bag, I guess he did mention though, if you've got movie company money, you can just, hello, Mr. Gillette, can I please have 8 barrels? And
I don't think they'd give you gel shaving cream.
No,
terrible, because then you have 100 people trying to rub it together to make it foam.
Stain your skin.
I don't think the gel shaving cream existed in 1983 or 4.
No, that's a recent technology.
It's shot.
But anyway, how about that interview, huh?
I was just going to say, it was pretty amazing. We were in a separate room. It was just the 4 of us sitting down with Ernie Hudson. So there's 5 of us sitting in the room alone. It was pretty awesome. It was very intimate. You know, we got to see. He was such a nice person, though. It was ridiculous how nice he was. Very open to answering every question that we had.
Yeah.
Everything.
It was like talking with a relative. It really did. It was like this. There's no wall right now. There's nothing. You want to say something, just say it. And and I like how he dropped the occasional swear word, like he was just shooting the shit with us. He was like, "Hey, let's hang out." You know?
Yeah, he's like, they give you shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it was great, and that was our first sit down interview that we've all done together.
Oh yeah,
it was. That was the first time Across the Streams all were in the same room, and we decided to commemorate it with a Ghostbuster, an actual Ghostbuster.
Yeah, I think that was
felt a little weird, and I think we should probably break up.
I think that was the perfect.
Well, it was a good
sort
run,
of
everyone.
fit for that. For the first time, we actually were all together in a room instead of using technology as a way of connecting us.
Now, on to some sad news.
Oh boy!
The developers that were behind the Ghostbusters video game, along with a bunch of other games too, Terminal Reality, they closed their doors.
10 years.
Recently.
10 years after opening.
Is it 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years after they opened the doors, they closed them.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, there's a bunch of people that are out of work, but I mean, at least for the Ghostbuster fans, we got an amazing game, and I mean, it sucks that we might not ever see another one, but
and there might be the chance though now that like outtakes might start leaking out, or
hopefully,
yeah,
because I know there's a lot of stuff out there, so hopefully we can start seeing a little bit more of it now that they've shut the doors. But again, it's sad. It's sad. A bunch of people out of jobs, so
maybe they'll accidentally leak the deal, like a whole DLC on Xbox Live for the parade level. They'll just accidentally leak it.
They won't do that.
Or the Ghostbusters 2 subway level.
For the Xbox One? Like, what is
yeah, for Xbox One, maybe. Or PS4 exclusive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, we'll see what we can do to get some of that information.
Yeah, we'll try.
Well, you're going to have plenty of time to do that.
We're not going to get into that.
No.
And
it was quite the setup, but no.
Yeah, it was great.
Good attempt, though.
Yeah, when this episode comes out, I believe the Neutrino one's already going to be on sale via MattyCollector.com. So if they haven't sold out already,
then I'm going to say I've got 6 of them. Then
you did?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
I'm just going to buy one of them.
I was thinking about getting 2.
Okay.
One for each hand.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Oh, aren't they for right-handed people? No,
who knows?
They're not. They're not.
Both,
You're both. Yeah, omnidacious. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is it?
So yeah, Neutrino one.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, from what I can see, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, by next time we record the next episode, we're gonna have it, so we can
Probably
be
already have.
reviewing it. But at this point, it's in transition.
Yeah. Anybody listening to this who does get the Neutrino one, review it and send us an email on what you actually think, or send us a video clip and post it on our Facebook page. The fans really want to know how the production value is of the Neutrino one, and people are excited for it. So
yeah. All right, so
yes.
Dan and I, we joined the podcast a year ago now. So it's been an exciting year. I think we've done 9 or 10 episodes together.
That's almost 12.
You can tell that we've joined because it got good.
Yeah,
it did. It did get good.
Yeah, it did get good.
No,
It got real good.
I'm just kidding.
Pulling out all the stops. We're getting all the hit celebs.
Yeah, we get all the select people.
So here's the thing. Next year, 2014, I really think we're going to get some big names. I don't know who yet, but I've branched out. The seeds are planted, and well, you know what? They're growing into potential interviews.
It's true.
I hope they don't grow into potatoes.
All right, you lunatics. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. A lot of information. Send it out to your friends. If you know someone who likes Ghostbusters, send them the link. Maybe they'll like it too. I mean, that's what it's all about. Sharing and caring and loving and giving. It is the season after all, right?
You guys want to hear about a hilarious sign that Adam and I saw outside of a pharmacy yesterday?
Sure.
Today? You guys want to hear about a hilarious sign that Adam and I saw outside of a pharmacy yesterday?
Sure.
Today? So it said, "'Tis the season to be sneezing. Come on in and get some Kleenex."
Oh.
Like the brand?
Just end the show there.